Alhamdulillah وكفى وسلام على الذين اصطفى ما بعد. Alhamdulillah, as Maulana Azhar has mentioned, for the last couple of months we've been doing the Fazail of Durood Sharif, and for the last 4 sessions last week we've been concentrating on the Seerah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For those who have not been present, I will just briefly go what we've covered. We started from the story of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, and then Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam, how he discovered the water of Zamzam. After that, after Ismail alayhi salam passing away, a tribe called Jurhum, they took over the area of Makkah al-Mukarramah, and because of their injustice and not keeping the sanctity of Makkah al-Mukarramah, they were expelled from Makkah al-Mukarramah. When they were expelled, they covered the Zamzam water, and they were ousted by a tribe called Khuza'a, and Khuza'a then took over Makkah al-Mukarramah. In the tribe of Khuza'a, there was this leader called Amr bin Luhay, and he was the first person to start idol worshipping in Makkah al-Mukarramah, and we mentioned the story of Amr bin Luhay. And the chief of Khuza'a, his name was Hulayd, he had a daughter. He wanted someone to get married to his daughter. I'm just going briefly what we've mentioned in the last 4 weeks of Seerah. He wanted someone to marry his daughter, so he went outskirts of Makkah al-Mukarramah and he found someone by the name of Qusay. And he married his daughter to Qusay. And who was Qusay? Qusay was a great grandfather of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Muhammad bin Abdullah bin Abdul Muttalib bin Hashim bin Abd Munaf bin Qusay. So this was the first time when leadership was transferred in the lineage of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Qusay, after becoming son-in-law, his father-in-law then gave him the reign of looking after Makkah al-Mukarramah. Qusay, he was responsible of building houses around Kaaba. The infrastructure of Makkah al-Mukarramah he developed. After Qusay passing away, he gave the leadership to his son Abdullah. However, there was a power struggle. Some people said that we want your other son Abd Munaf to take over the leadership. Some people preferred Abdullah. And then later on it was agreed that Abdullah will take some responsibility and Abd Munaf's family will take the responsibility of looking after the pilgrimage. So after Abd Munaf, Hashim, he took in charge. And Hashim was the one who started the famous caravan, 2 routes. In winter, Ashita, he used to send a caravan to Yemen, and in summer, which is called a Saif, he used to send a caravan to Sham. And this is how he sustained Makkah al-Mukarramah. And this is, so business used to come, he used to send these 2 caravans in winter and summer, and this is how the whole Makkah peninsula was sustained through business. Hashim, later on he went to Yathrib, which we know is called Madinah al-Munawwara, and he got married to a lady called Salma. And Hashim then went to Gaza, and there he passed away. Hashim's son, Hashim, because his sons were fairly young, Hashim's brother, Muttalib, he took in charge of Makkah al-Mukarramah. When Muttalib grew, he decided that it is not right for me to take over this. Hashim's son should take in charge of the affairs of Makkah al-Mukarramah. So he was told that he has got a son in Yathrib. So he went all the way to Yathrib. He took, he told, and Hashim's son's name was Shayba. So he told Shayba that in Makkah al-Mukarramah, your father left a void, fill that void. So they came back, and this is what we mentioned last week, that as they were coming into Makkah al-Mukarramah, Muttalib, so he's the uncle, he's riding the conveyance, the camel, and behind him is Shayba. But people don't know who Shayba is. So people think that this person behind Muttalib is a servant of Muttalib. So they start calling him, oh Abdul Muttalib, oh Abdul Muttalib. Muttalib tells people, oh people, this is not my servant, this is Hashim's son, Shayba. The people say, no, this is Abdul Muttalib, this is your servant. And this is how his name became famous with Abdul Muttalib. Abdul Muttalib then takes over the reign of Makkah al-Mukarramah. And as we mentioned last week, that in the Hijr of Kaaba, Hijr is the Hatim part. This is where Ismail al-Islam is buried, and his mother and many other people are buried here, he saw a dream. As I mentioned, Jurhum was the one who covered Zamzam. So from that century till now, Zamzam had not been discovered. So Abdul Muttalib, he goes to sleep, he sees a dream, and he's been told that in this particular area, dig, and in there you will uhfur Zamzam, you will find water. So he goes there with his eldest son. He only had one son, Harith, at this time. He goes there, he digs, and the Zamzam water comes out. Whilst he's digging, he makes a vow to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, "Oh Allah, if you give me 10 sons, I will sacrifice one in your path." Later on, he has 10 sons. Actually, he has 12 sons. And he remembers the vow which he made to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he takes all his sons, they grow older. So he takes them into Makkah, inside Kaaba, and tells the sons that, "Look, I made this vow to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you were young, when you were not even born, that I'm going to sacrifice one of you in the path of Allah." And the name which comes out was Abdullah, the most favorite son of Abdul Muttalib. He takes him out, and the family of Abdullah says to Abdul Muttalib, "Oh Abdul Muttalib, you can't do this with your son Abdullah. Do something else." So, cutting the story short, it was agreed that he sacrifices 100 camels in place of not fulfilling this vow. So this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved Abdullah by being sacrificed. And this is why sometimes you will hear in Bayan that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was called the father of two Zabihain, because Ismail alayhi salam was supposed to be crucified and Abdullah was supposed to be crucified. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved him. After this incident happened, now we will start. After this incident happened, Abdul Muttalib decided, now it's time for my son Abdullah to get married. So he went out looking for someone. So he found this girl, this lady called Amina radiallahu ta'ala. Now who was Amina? Amina, her father's name was Wahab. Wahab's father's name was Abd Munaf. Now this is different Abd Munaf, not the same which comes in the lineage of Prophet. So Amina bint Wahab bint Abd Munaf, and Abd Munaf's father's name was Zuhra. And who was Zuhra? Zuhra, he was the brother of Qusay. And Zuhra and Qusay's father was Kilab. This is how the lineage of Abdullah and Amina goes up to Kilab. So Kilab had two sons, had actually three sons. One was Qusay and one was Zuhra. From Zuhra came Amina, and from Qusay came Abdullah radiallahu anhu. So Prophet Abdul Muttalib proposed that my son Abdullah be married to you, O Amina. Now Amina radiallahu anha had a cousin sister called Hala. Abdul Muttalib said to Amina, "Oh Amina, you get married to my son Abdullah, and your cousin sister, I want your cousin sister Hala to get married to me." So it was stated, it is written, that the same day when Abdullah got married to Amina radiallahu anha, Abdul Muttalib, meaning the father of Abdullah, he got married to the cousin sister of Amina radiallahu ta'ala anha, and her name was Hala. And through this marriage, Abdul Muttalib had a son, meaning now he's Prophet's uncle. He had a son called Hamza radiallahu ta'ala anhu. This is why Hamza radiallahu ta'ala anhu was very close to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because they were similar age. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam father Abdullah, he's married to Amina, and Abdul Muttalib, he's married to the cousin sister of Amina radiallahu ta'ala called Hala. After a couple of weeks, as per the tradition of Makkah al-Mukarramah, Abdul Muttalib tells Abdullah, "Oh Abdullah, you're my son, it's safe, it's summertime, you need to take a caravan to Sham." Because this is what used to happen. Every winter, a caravan to Yemen, and every summer, a caravan to Sham. So Abdullah got ready, and a caravan set off to go to Sham. They went to Sham, they did business. On the way back, Abdullah, the father of Prophet, he got ill in Medina. At that time it was called Yathrib. When he got ill, he told the caravan, "Look, don't stay here. I'm ill, I'll stay here. You lot go." So this caravan came into Makkah al-Mukarramah. Abdul Muttalib was looking forward to see his son, Abdullah. But Abdullah was not there. So he asked, "Where's my son?" They said, the caravan people said, "Look, we stopped at Yathrib, but he became really ill, so he's just staying there." Abdul Muttalib couldn't take this, so he told his eldest son, Harith, that, oh, my eldest son, go to Yathrib and find out what's happened to your brother, meaning my son. So Harith, he goes all the way to Yathrib, and there he was told that your brother Abdullah radiallahu ta'ala has passed away. So Harith, he comes back and he delivers that sad news to Abdul Muttalib and to Amina radiallahu ta'ala. Amina at this time is pregnant. And Abdul Muttalib, he can't take this. It was a very sad news that my favorite son Abdullah has passed away. Now, whilst all this was happening, there was something happening in the south of Yemen. What was happening at this time when this incident was happening in Makkah al-Mukarramah was Abyssinia. If you look on the map, Abyssinia, now we call it Ethiopia. Abyssinia country is next to Yemen. There was a ruler of Yemen who did a lot of injustice. So the Najashi is a title which is given to any king of Abyssinia. Just like Pharaoh is like any king of Egypt is called Pharaoh. So Najashi, he decided that this person who's in charge of Yemen is causing a lot of havoc in Yemen. So he sent a troop to invade Yemen. And Yemen was invaded. And Najashi, he sent a general by the name of Abraha. And he told Abraha that you're in charge of Yemen now. You need to take control of this place. So he migrated to Yemen and he stayed there. When he stayed in Yemen, Abraha, general, he saw people going to Makkah al-Mukarramah. So he asked, where are these people going? So because the religion of Najashi and all this was not paganism. Their religion was Christianity. So they asked, what's happening? So they were told the Arabs, they have this Kaaba and they go every year to visit this Kaaba. And he found out that like thousands of people, they go and visit this particular place in Makkah al-Mukarramah. So he decided that I should make something similar in Yemen, so that people don't go there and people come here, because of a number of reasons. Number one, so that religious pilgrim happens in Yemen, and number two, because wherever there's flocks of people, there's business, there's tourism, there's money to be made. So he wanted all that to be transferred south. So he made a huge cathedral. Some people say that it was called Qullais, because Qullais means when you lift your head, your headgear, your topi falls off. That's how tall this cathedral was. He made it with gold, different monuments. After it was made, he made an announcement in the Arabian Peninsula that, oh people, I have made this cathedral, stop going to Makkah and start coming here. Arab people, they didn't like this. So one person from Kinana, he came, and some people said he defecated, some people said he defiled, some people said this person, he lit a fire in that palace, Qullais palace. And Abraha got so angry at this that he decided that that's it. No more talking. I am going to destroy Kaaba now. So he gets an army ready of 60, some people say 70,000 people. And with the army, he takes 13 elephants. Now in the Arabian Peninsula, you will not see elephants. These elephants came from Ethiopia, African elephants. African elephants, if you see, they're huge. And these are war elephants, not those which we see in safari parks. These are war mammoth animals who are just trained to go for warfare. So he takes 13 of them, 60,000 soldiers, and he decides that that's it, I'm going to finish this Kaaba off. Dhu Nafar, a tribe, they first stand in front of him, that tribe, but Abraha just annihilates this tribe. He goes forward, and again a tribe called Qat'an, they resist, they form a resistance, but even they couldn't stop Abraha and his huge army. Abraha then takes the leader of this tribe, Qatan, called Nufail, and he tells Nufail that I want you to be the guide, because obviously he's not seen this new area. So Nufail, out of force, he's been told to guide up to Makkah al-Mukarramah. He's going 60,000, and they stop at a place called Taif. Now the people of Taif, in Taif there's a big monument, they call it Lat, the idol of Lat. They thought then maybe Abraha will mistake this to be Kaaba, so they might break this. So Taif became very friendly with Abraha. And then Abraha was told that this is not the place, the place is Kaaba, Makkah al-Mukarramah. Thereafter, he stops at a place called Al-Mughammas. This is like 2 miles away from Makkah al-Mukarramah. So for example, if we're here, then Dewsbury. Just imagine 60,000 soldiers with 13 elephants ready to march into this small area. He sets foot there. He sends a person called Al-Aswad that go inside Makkah al-Mukarramah and instill fear. So he goes and he captures, different animals, camels, goats, whatever he can find. And one of the things which he captures is 200 camels of Abdul Muttalib. He comes back. Now, people of Makkah have been told that any day now, this troop is going to just annihilate everything. And the reason, Mufassir, right, the reason why he took the elephants was because he didn't know how Kaaba would be. What he wanted to do was chain Kaaba up, and then with the help of the elephant, charge the elephant the opposite direction, so the whole Kaaba would be destroyed. This was his plan. But obviously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had different plans. And then, for the last time, he sends a person called Hanata. Oh Hanata, you go inside Kaaba, inside Makkah, and call the person who is in charge of Kaaba. So he goes, he finds out that Abdul Muttalib is a person who is the chief of this place. He speaks to Abdul Muttalib, and he tells Abdul Muttalib, look, Abraha's calling you. So Abdul Muttalib, he goes. Now Abdul Muttalib, he's the grandfather of Prophet ﷺ. So he was very attractive, very awe appearance. It is stated that when he enters the room where Abraha was sat, Abraha, just seeing the appearance of Abdul Muttalib, he gets up from his royal throne and he goes and meets Abdul Muttalib. He goes and meets Abdul Muttalib, and they both sit down on the carpet. And here Abraha asks Abdul Muttalib, "Oh Abdul Muttalib, what have you come for? Is there a favor?" Which, obviously, thinking that Abdul Muttalib will now ask for some redemption, there is some negotiation happening over here now. Allahu Akbar. But what did Abdul Muttalib reply? Abdul Muttalib said, "I have come here to ask for my 200 camels, that's it." When he heard this, Abraha, he got furious. That I've got a huge army of 60,000 people, and here the only thing you're worried is about your 200 camels? Allahu Akbar. This is when Abdul Muttalib said one of the most famous statements which is recorded in books. The Ana Rabbul Ibil wa inna lil bayti Rabban sayamna'. The O Abraha, I am the owner of my camels. I will protect my camels. O Abraha, that house, Kaaba, has also got an owner, and he will protect it. And saying this, he left Abdul Muttalib. He went inside Makkah al-Mukarramah. He told the people of Makkah al-Mukarramah, we've got no chance of defeating this huge army. He told everyone to go on top of the mountains and leave the whole Makkah alone. So the whole of Makkah al-Mukarramah was vacated. It is stated that Abdul Muttalib, he goes in front of the door of Kaaba and he pleads to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that in al-bayta yamna rihla, and he makes a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh Allah, every human protects his property. Oh Allah, you protect your property. We don't have the strength to fight this army. Oh Allah, if today this is broken, what's going to happen to us? And he himself then goes on top of the Mount Hira, and there it is stated that he could see the 60,000 army and the 13 elephants ready to charge and anytime break the Kaaba. The time comes for them. They get the 60,000 army ready. From the 13 elephants, the biggest elephant, they got him ready. His name was Mahmud, a mammoth. But he wouldn't move forward. Mahout is a person who is trained with elephants. It is stated that whichever direction he took the elephant, they would go. But as soon as they directed him towards the Kaaba, he would stop. They didn't know what to do at this time. And it was at this time when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent birds after birds after birds. Each bird having 3 stones with them, one in its beak and one in its claws. And they filled the skies, okay? And with these stones, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used these birds and they unleashed these small stones, and it penetrated, meaning it went with so much velocity, so much intensity. They went and it penetrated through all the soldiers, and it killed all the soldiers. Even Abraha stated that when he was going out, even he passed away. And through small stones, and with this I will conclude, small stones, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed a whole army which no one in the Arabian Peninsula had seen. My brothers, what can we learn from this? We can learn that an army of 60,000, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have used any different creatures. He could have used His miracles, but He used an everyday, the largest land animal is elephant. He used the smallest animal, like the birds. Small pebbles to attack this army. And with this army, they passed away. Showing us, my brothers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing us that if we have a problem, then don't think that my problem is so big, my problem will only be solved by something supernatural, something miracle. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will solve your problem with your everyday means. He is not in need of superpower to solve your problems. The only condition is have tawakkul, have reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you have reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will save you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will solve your problem. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you whatever you need. As long as this quality is within you, reliance in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like Maulana Seerah was saying, like we go out and no matter how important the letter is, we give that post office person 8 quid. And we have reliance on the network of Royal Mail, that no matter how important this letter is, they will deliver. My Allah is saying that وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. That when a believer asks from me, I will definitely accept his dua. But the only condition is that we have to have that tawakkul. We need to have that reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we have that reliance, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will fulfill your need from places where you've not even thought of. But the condition is that I will just mention one incident. It's the day of Arafah as well, and then I will conclude. I was just reading this incident, and it was such a beautiful incident, I just want to mention it to you. That وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. Have reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah will fulfill your need. I was just reading the story of Sulaiman Rajhi. Sulaiman Rajhi, he's passed away about a month ago. One of the richest person, non-Arab. His net worth was about 6 billion pounds. It is stated that when he was young, he was very poor. Very poor. It is stated that when he was young, one day the teacher told him that we're going on a school trip. I need 1 riyal from everyone. Sulaiman Rajhi went home. He asked his parent for 1 riyal, and his parent couldn't give him 1 riyal because he couldn't afford. It is stated that he had an exam to sit. So he sat in one of the exams, and the teacher became so happy by the marks which he got, that the teacher gave him 1 riyal. A different teacher. He didn't know about this. A different teacher gave him 1 riyal. Sulaiman Rajhi says, I got so happy that I took that 1 riyal, straight away went to my form teacher and gave him that 1 riyal. I said, I want to be part of this trip which we are going. Sulaiman Rajhi, he becomes older. In 1957, he opens up the Rajhi banks. If you go to Saudi Arabia, world largest Islamic banks are the Rajhi banks. It is scattered throughout Arabian Peninsula. When he grows older, he remembers this story which happens. So he goes back to that school and he says that I want to meet that teacher. They say that teacher is retired. And we don't know with how much ikhlas that teacher must have made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Sulaiman Rajhi, he finds out that my teacher lives there. So he went to his house and he says, do you remember me? The teacher says, I don't remember you. Sulaiman Rajhi says, I will quickly finish off, that I've got a debt to pay. So this teacher says, now he's poor, this teacher's poor. What a debt? I've never given you anything. He said, yes, I have got a debt to pay you, and that is that when I was young, you gave me 1 riyal. You gave me 1 riyal. I want to pay that debt off. He took his teacher outside. There was a car there. There was a house there. He said, here's the car keys, and here's the keys for that house. This car is yours from today. That house is yours. He said, but I only gave you 1 riyal that time. He said, the happiness which you gave me on that day, I wish to pay through the same happiness to you as well. I want you to feel that same happiness which you're feeling now. The same happiness I felt on that day when you gave me that 1 riyal. And not only that, from today, an allocated money is going to your bank, and this is how I'm going to pay you. My brothers, what I'm trying to say is have reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, that have reliance and I will accept your dua. This is the promise of Allah. And what does my Nabi says? My Nabi says, عن ترمذي رحمة الله عليه عن عمرو بن شعيب عن أبيه وعن جده أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال خير الدعاء دعاء يوم عرفة. That the best of du'as, the best of days which a person can make dua, is the dua which you will make on the day of Arafah. Imam Awza'i rahmatullahi alayhi writes that I saw people preserving their du'as. They used to not ask du'as, and they used to preserve these du'as so that when the day of Arafah comes, they would ask on that day. My brothers, how fortunate are we that the last 10-15 minutes which we are going through now is the day of Arafah, regarding which Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, the khayru du'a'i du'a yawmi Arafah, that the best dua a person can make is the dua which a person will make on the day of Arafah. Surely 100% his dua will be accepted. Alhamdulillah, we still have 10-15 minutes left. Let's all make dua. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove all the poverty, whatever difficulties which we are facing, whichever problems which we are facing, and let us utilize these last 10-15 minutes. Alhamdulillah, many people here and at home will be fasting. Yet another reason for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our dua. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala firstly give me the tawfiq, and then the rest of us, that we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with ikhlas, and let us ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove the problems in the whole of humanity. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.